Now, let's talk about romantic workplace relationships. Workplace romances involve two people who are emotionally and physically attracted to one another. And this relationship type is easily the most controversial of all of the workplace relationships. There's some research that supports the claim that workplace romances are bad for business, whereas other research claims that workplace romances enhance employee satisfaction and productivity. If one thing is for certain, however, it's that romantic workplace relationships are not a rare or isolated event. They happen all the time. One of the reasons that romance in the workplace is so controversial is that workplace romances bring into the office emotions that have the potential to become very intense. Additionally, romance brings an element of sexuality into workplaces that are supposed to be largely asexual, so there's a tension there. People who support workplace relationships argue that companies and businesses shouldn't have a say in the personal lives of their employees. What happens outside of the workplace is their business. And they even cite research showing that workplace romances can increase productivity between the individuals who are in that romance. And people might have many different reasons for participating in a workplace romance. They might have job motives, ego motives, and of course, love motives. If an individual has job motives, these include gaining rewards such as power, money, or job security. And these job motives would be especially present in supervisor-subordinate romantic relationships, because the supervisor might be able to save the subordinate if there is a round of job cuts, for example, right? So there might be job motives with involving yourself in a romance. There might, of course, also be ego motives. These include the thrill of the chase and the self-esteem boost that one might get by bagging your hot coworker, right? But in addition, there, of course, could be love motives. And these include the desire for genuine affection and companionship. And it just so happens that you found that affection and companionship in a person who works in the same building as you. And so lots of different reasons that people could have for participating in a romantic workplace relationship. But these relationships definitely have an impact on the workplace. They can have good impacts, bad impacts, and they can even potentially be prohibited. So on the bad side of things, coworkers may resent the appearance of favoritism within these romantic relationships and feel unfairly treated, especially if the romance, like I said earlier, is between a supervisor and a subordinate. Because if the subordinate is seen as getting special treatment because they are dating their superior, that could potentially lead to some tension among their coworkers. However, on the good side, individuals involved in these romances may experience positive effects, such as increased satisfaction from the fact that they get to spend more time together at work, and they may even be more productive than they would be if they were not involved in that relationship. However, if a relationship begins to deteriorate, the individuals within that relationship may experience more stress than other couples would, because they might be required to continue working together on a daily basis, and that's just not fun if you're going through a breakup, right? And then when it comes to the policies that surround romantic workplace relationships, company policies run the gamut here. So they range from a complete prohibition of romantic relationships to policies that only specify that relationships between supervisors and subordinates are prohibited, to other policies that don't prohibit romantic workplace relationships that might discourage love affairs within the workplace. But regardless, as you can see, these romantic workplace relationships are super controversial within the workplace just by looking at the fact of the different policies the different companies have. But they can have good impacts and they can have bad impacts on the individuals who are in the relationship, as well as the individuals who also happen to work in that same space.